Long ago, there lived a small family, a merchant, his wife, and their only son, whose name was Naeem. God had not granted him a child until many years had passed. This merchant believed in fortune tellers and regularly visited them. One day, he decided to travel for trade, and as usual, he went to a gypsy fortune teller who read palms, hoping she would tell him what would happen during his absence. She looked at his palm and said, "Your wife will give birth to a girl who will cause the death of her brother." The man was deeply disturbed by her words. His wife was pregnant, and he feared for his only son's life if she gave birth to a girl. He wished that his wife would give birth before he traveled so that he could get rid of the baby if it was a girl. But the birth was delayed, and the time came for him to leave with the caravan. He said to his son, "You were with me and heard what the fortune teller said. I am traveling now. If your mother gives birth to a girl, do not let her live, for she will bring ruin upon our family. Do not neglect my command, for that fortune teller never lies, and everything she says is true." The man spoke while the boy listened attentively. When he finished, the father asked, "Did you hear what I said?" The son replied, "Yes, and I will carry out your command. I will not disobey you." The merchant traveled, confident that his son would carry out his will. When the woman gave birth, the fortune teller's words came true. The baby was a beautiful girl, radiant like the moon. Her mother named her Layla. The boy loved her and said to himself, "She is still small. I don't want to sadden my mother because of her. I will wait a little until she grows." Each time, he postponed killing her. As days passed, he grew accustomed to her presence and decided to let her live. Perhaps if his father saw her upon his return, he would change his mind. She was so gentle and lovely, and if his father insisted on killing her, he would try to convince him that she posed no danger to anyone. The little girl grew, and the boy became more attached to her. A year and a half passed, and the merchant's return drew near. The boy feared that his father might harm his little sister, so he made an agreement with their neighbor. The neighbor would keep the girl and claim her as his own daughter, while the boy would take the neighbor's son and present him to his father as his little brother. The neighbor agreed after learning of the merchant's intentions. When the father returned from his journey, his son welcomed him and presented the neighbor's son as his younger brother. Layla often came to the house and sat with her mother, but the father noticed nothing until years later, when the girl began to speak. He noticed that she called his wife mother. Then the truth became clear to him, and the trick was exposed. He became furious with his son for disobeying his command and said to him, "You will not enter this house until you get rid of her either by killing her or burying her alive." The boy was torn and saw no escape but to obey his father. Yet he felt that burying his sister alive would be easier on his heart than killing her outright. He took a pickaxe, mounted his horse, seated his sister behind him, and rode far into the desert. He stopped dismounted and began digging a hole to bury his sister. When she saw him digging, she began helping him, carrying dirt and gathering stones. He watched her in silence, pain tearing at his heart. When the hole was just her size, he asked her to climb into it. She jumped in happily, thinking it was a game. He began building a small dome over her using the stones he had gathered. The girl laughed and admired what he was building above her head, even pointing out cracks and openings he had missed so he could close them. He looked at her in astonishment and sealed them until he finished. She had no idea of his true intention and thought it was all play. When the girl found herself in complete darkness, she began to cry and begged him to take her out because she was afraid. The boy hesitated as he listened to her cries. Should he leave her to die, or free her and face whatever fate awaited him? He did not hesitate long. How could he live with the guilt of his little sister's death weighing on his conscience? He grabbed the pickaxe, destroyed the dome, and pulled his sister out. She rushed into his arms, crying, while he thanked God for guiding him to what was right. Then he mounted his horse and rode through mountains and valleys. He knew well what fate awaited him if he returned to his father, but he feared for his sister more than he feared for himself. He said to himself, "This is the consequence of listening to fortune tellers and charlatans." As the horse continued on, Naeem spotted 2 puppies in the distance and took them with him. In that place there was a small lake of fresh water. The siblings dismounted to drink and rest. Naeem admired the place. It was hidden from sight and full of trees and plants. He fashioned a bow and arrows and went hunting. After a while, he returned with a deer, skinned it, and roasted it. Days passed. Naeem built a hut from reeds growing along the riverbank. He and his sister grew accustomed to life in the wilderness, undisturbed by anything. From time to time, he would secretly go down to the village market, sell animal skins he had hunted, and buy clothes and necessities for the hut. He instructed his sister never to open the door to anyone and not to speak to any stranger during his absence. Their father was surely searching for them, and if anyone saw them, they would reveal their location. Layla promised she would not go out and would not open the door for anyone. Every morning, the boy would saddle his horse, take his 2 dogs who had grown and never left his side, and go hunting, returning only after midday. The dogs helped him hunt and track prey. Naeem and his sister Layla lived this way for years. He built a small stone house in place of the hut and made a fireplace for winter. The little girl, who had once been 5 years old, grew into a beautiful young woman with golden blonde hair, her beauty captivating all who saw her. One night, as they slept, Layla heard the dogs barking fiercely. She rose and looked through a crack in the door and saw a pack of wolves attacking the horse, while the dogs tried to fend them off. She woke her brother. He looked and saw that the wolves were about to overpower the dogs protecting the tied horse. He quickly grabbed his sword and rushed out to defend them. His sister tried to stop him, fearing for his life, but he insisted. He attacked the wolves with his sword, and the dogs helped him. Some wolves fled, but one wolf fiercely attacked Naeem, knocked him to the ground, and nearly killed him. The dogs were chasing the other wolves away. Seeing this, Layla rushed, took the bow, and quickly shot an arrow at the wolf, dropping it dead. Naeem could not believe what his sister had done. He stood up, stared at her in amazement, and said, "You saved my life." She hurried to him, embraced him, and said, "I would sacrifice my soul for you. I have no one but you." The dogs returned after the wolves fled. Naeem went back to sleep, lost in thought, saying to himself, "I want to return to my father and prove to him the fortune teller's lie and ignorance. I am still alive, and my sister saved me from death. But my father's head is full of delusions. He will not believe me." In the morning, Layla said to her brother, "I want to go to the lake to wash some clothes and bathe." He said, "Don't be long. I'll wait here, and be careful that no one sees you." She replied, "All right, I won't be long." Layla went to the lake, and while washing clothes, she was seen by a prince passing by with some guards on a hunting trip. As the prince approached, he was astonished by her beauty and golden hair. Layla noticed him coming toward her, gathered her clothes, and ran quickly back home. She did not tell her brother what had happened, fearing his anger and that he would never let her go out again. When the prince returned to his palace, he sent for the old chambermaid Karamana and told her about the girl and her beauty, asking her to find out who she was and why she lived in such a strange place. The woman said, "I hear and obey, my lord. I will go to her and learn everything." The next day, the woman went to Layla's house and knocked on the door with her staff. The girl was surprised no one had ever knocked on their door before. The woman called out, "I am a passing traveler, hungry, asking for a bite of food." Layla replied from behind the door, "God is generous. We have nothing to give in charity." The woman did not answer but pretended to be sick and weary, lamenting loudly and reciting supplications, crying and complaining of hardship. Layla listened. Her heart softened, and her resolve weakened. She opened the door and saw a woman in ragged clothes, though her face was gentle despite her age. Layla brought her food, and the woman ate greedily, praising the girl and praying for her. The woman then asked, "Why do you live alone in this place?" Layla replied, "I am not alone. My brother is with me, but he has gone hunting." The woman skillfully drew her into conversation until Layla trusted her and revealed her entire story. Then the woman said, "Did you see the prince yesterday?" Layla was startled and asked, "Who told you?" The woman laughed and said, "He is the one who sent me. He admired you and wants to see you." Layla refused, saying, "I will not go with you. If my brother finds out that I even opened the door, he will be angry." The woman said, "Will you live in this place your whole life? You are a beautiful girl. This is an opportunity, don't waste it. You will live in the palace and become a princess." Layla refused again. The woman grew angry, left, and returned to the palace, telling the prince everything, including Layla's story. The prince was amazed and said, "I will go to her myself tomorrow morning and bring her to live with us in the palace." The next morning, the prince went with his guards to the girl's house. Her brother was not home. He knocked on the door. Layla opened it and lowered her gaze. The prince asked, "Where is your brother?" She said, "He went hunting." The prince said, "Come with me. You will live in the palace. I have learned your story and will not leave you here for another day. There you will be safe, She replied, "My brother will be angry if he knows I left without telling him." He said, "Do not fear. When he learns, I will bring him to the palace and speak to him myself." After much insistence, she agreed and went with him to the palace. He ordered the servants to bring her the finest clothes and adorn her with the most beautiful jewelry, for she would live in the palace and would not be ashamed of it. When her brother returned from hunting and did not find her, he was seized with fear and panic. He saw horse tracks on the ground and followed them with his horse and dogs until they reached the palace. He tried to enter but was stopped by the guards. He sat sadly, wondering what to do. Had the guards taken his sister? Had someone sold her to the palace as a slave? Exhausted by his thoughts, he said to himself, "I will return to my father and tell him everything. Let whatever happens, happen." Naeem went to his father's house. He had grown older, his features changed, and he had become a young man. When his father saw him, he said, "Where have you been all these years, Naeem? I searched for you until I thought you were dead. And where is your sister? Did you kill her as I ordered?" Naeem told his father their entire story and said that his sister had been taken from their home and brought to the palace. "We must go to the palace and rescue her." The father refused and shouted, "I ordered you to kill her, and you disobeyed me. This girl will bring nothing but ruin. Get out of my sight and return to where you came from. Do not come here again." Naeem wept bitterly. He had not expected this from his father. His heart had hardened to stone. He learned that his mother was ill from grief over losing her children. Naeem left the house, not knowing what to do. He went toward the palace and sat outside, hoping to see his sister or learn something about her. After a short while, Layla looked out the window and saw her brother. She had been waiting for him. She hurried to the prince and told him that her brother was sitting outside the palace. The prince sent a guard to bring him in. When Naeem entered, he saw his sister well, dressed in the finest clothes, attended by maidservants. Joy filled his face. He embraced his sister, gazing at her in disbelief at what she had become. She reassured him and said, "Do not be sad or angry with me. Here I am safe. You sacrificed your life to protect me, and this prince came at the right time to save me from what we were living through. I cannot spend my whole life living in fear, fleeing from place to place." The prince ordered the guards to bring the merchant. When the merchant arrived, the prince ordered him imprisoned and brought before a judge. During the trial, his children were present. The judge asked him, "Why did you order your children to kill their sister?" He replied, "I knew she would be the cause of his death." The judge became angry and said, "No one knows the unseen except God. How could you condemn your innocent daughter to death before she committed any sin? By believing in these superstitions and trusting them, you have disbelieved in God. You forced your children to live for years in the wilderness like animals out of fear of you, and their mother fell ill because of you and your actions. We sentence you to 5 years in prison." Layla stood up crying and said, "I forgive him. I cannot live here while my father is in prison." The prince looked at her in astonishment and said, "He wanted to kill you, and now you defend him." She replied, "God is forgiving and merciful. Praise be to God that I am still well, and he has compensated me for the hard days I spent in fear in the wilderness." The father wept bitterly, regretting what he had done, his belief in fortune tellers and the years he had wasted away from his children. Layla asked the prince to visit her mother to reassure her. She went with her brother, and when their mother saw them safe and well, it was as if her soul returned to her body. She stood up, embraced her children, and wept with joy and happiness. Then Layla married the prince and lived with him in the palace in happiness and peace. Whoever has reached the end of the story, leave us a message in the comments telling us which country you are watching from. Until we meet again in the next story.